club. I'd rather die before I come in last. I ain't felt like this in a long time. I ain't felt like this in a long time. I ain't had shit in a long time. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to look like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to look like this, it took a long time, yeah. Hold up, I'm trying to do something right now. Just leave me alone. I'm gonna get caught. You know what I do? Leave me alone. I'm gonna go to the side. We gonna do that like Lil' black jean jacket, yeah. Got be long on it, yeah. Got that bad bitch, yeah. Wanna fuck me, my homie, yeah. Got that bad bitch, yeah. Tryna fuck me, my homie, yeah. Shawty gon' suck to the money, yeah. I can't wait no daddy, yeah. Bad that bitch on homie, yeah. I just fucked your daddy, yeah. I ain't even pass the homie, yeah. We might ride ya homie, we might rob ya homie, we might rob ya homie. I'd rather get caught with it than without it. Wake up and smell the motherfucking coffee. I'm about to put the boys in the coffee. I ain't felt like this in a long time. I ain't felt like this in a long time. I ain't had shit in a long time. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to look like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to look like this, it took a long time, yeah.
I've been to Atlanta.
Most definitely been to.
With who?
No cap and gown, I ain't go to class. I'd rather die before I come in last.
So you just send me your address, you just send me your address. You forget?
I ain't had shit in a long time. I ain't felt like this in a long time. I ain't felt like this in a long time. I ain't had shit in a long time. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to look like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to look like this, it took a long time, yeah. I ain't had shit in a long time. 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 Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah. Just to feel like this, it took a long time, yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Bookit Sports community around the world. We've got another episode of the morning after. Hold on, let me open these windows a little bit more. I look like I'm in a cave. Just give me 1 second here. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, in case you're wondering, we got Nick behind the scenes today. Josh is unfortunately traveling. I just want to can I get some W's in chat for Nick, please? I mean, come on. This is why we play the game.
W's in chat.
Guy's an absolute grinder.
It's all good. My bets aren't as good as Josh's, but I'll give you something nice later on for.
I wouldn't.
Monday night.
So here's the thing about that. Josh's percentage of hit bets on this show, I think, is inching close to 1%.
Yeah.
And I hope he's watching, and I hope he heard that. And that's a fire under Josh's ass, is what that is. Because there has been some moves from Josh out of this show that are going to go down in the record books.
I know he was at the Chicago Bears game yesterday with Dave, and anytime the Bears just do play poorly, he's never going to be seen from. So he's in the shitter.
Josh, here's the thing about Josh. Josh, when the Bears play, you'd think he was on the field because he puts his phone away, and then make no mistake, Nick, if the Bears lose, his phone goes away for another 3 hours. It's like trying to reach Caleb Williams while the Bears are on. Brother, you're not on the team.
But if they win, he would have made sure to be on this morning.
Oh, yeah. If they won, he'd be in the car.
All about it. Not helpful that Missouri Tigers also lost yesterday to Illinois, so he had a double whammy. and is just going to be off the grid for a few days.
Covered that 3.5 though in record-setting fashion, dude. I wailed Mizzou plus 3.5, lost by 3.
Miserable.
That's why we play the game.
Yeah. Dennis Gates getting a tech and going on the court. I was excited about that. Did you watch that game at all?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but I was going back and forth between the playoff games.
Miserable.
I know. Brutal, dude. Brutal.
Which sucked.
Brutal, dude. I was watching the Seton Hall game with my dad last night. He's a big Seton Hall guy. They were losing by like 12 with 4 minutes left. They came all the way back, down 1. They get a huge turnover. They get the ball with 8 seconds left. Dribbled out the clock. Didn't even get a shot off.
Wow.
My dad was in shambles.
That's one you might need to buy a new TV for Christmas after.
Literally, he was like, we didn't even get a shot up. We didn't even shoot the ball. I was like,
That's okay. We were sticking it to March Mitchell in the corner, one of our worst 3-point shooters with the game on the line. So
good. That's what you want.
For both of us. Great weekend for both of us.
I did want to say, first of all, thank you for everyone that showed up. Happy holidays. We appreciate every single one of you that tunes into the show every single day, and we appreciate all of you that are active in chat right now. It's good to see all of you. Hopefully, you guys had a good week where the Indiana Hoosiers went into Notre Dame. And there's a couple times in life where you just got to say, hand up, my bad. That was really, really bad. Indiana, one of those bets. Somehow, though, Nick, I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is what frustrated me so much, dude. The thing that frustrated me about Indiana Notre Dame is what the hell happened in that fourth quarter? Out of nowhere, Indiana was like, oh, it's been working really well when we throw the ball instead of running it up the gut 5 times. Like the problem that I had with Indiana, and it wasn't that it was a bad bet, because I think Indiana plus 7.5 was a good bet. I think if Cignetti had a brain, they cover that game, they might win that game. Here's my problem with the bet, Nick. And Shane Gillis said it before the game even kicked off. And that's when I knew we were dead. Cignetti going on College Game Day, the afternoon of his biggest game in his entire career. He just came from JMU, Nick. The biggest game he might have played at JMU was probably the bedsheet pillow cover bowl. Now you're in the college football playoff with Indiana, and he goes on College Game Day to strictly, for a 5-minute period, talk shit. I'm going to be honest, Nick. If I'm an Indiana player and our coach disappears for 5 minutes, and I'm in the locker room listening to my music, whatever it is, getting pumped up, getting ready to go, and I peep over at the TV in the corner and I see my coach is on national television talking about, we don't just beat top 25 teams, we blow them out. I don't know how I'd feel as a player. It's like, brother, we got way more important things to worry about than you going on and getting your 20 seconds of fame. And it feels like that's all Cignetti really cares about, dude. And when he's like, yeah, you can Google me, look me up. And then he comes out, Nick, he blows the timeout when they went for the fake field goal play. That, by the way, was just never going to work. I feel like in that situation, the minute the team motions out of that and they snap it, you live and die by your team stopping that play, because that play is so easy to stop. So you live and die by stopping that play. Waste that timeout, punting down 17, up the gut on third downs. Like, he got outcoached in every sense and facet of the game, and it starts with that College Game Day bit. And I would love to know how you felt about it. But when I saw that, Nick, it just completely took me out of it, because it just felt like, one, Shane Gillis being like, would you ever do that? And Nick Saban giving you the most honest answer ever, just being like, no.
Well, my whole thing
and then Marcus is in the Notre Dame locker room like, look at this fucking idiot right now. Are you guys seeing this fucking idiot? Like, you know what I mean?
That's the thing, is when you're in that situation, and this is a round 1 game, you're in the first of 4. So you got to be locked in. And I think, I don't know, not that Cignetti's overlooking Notre Dame by any means, because Notre Dame is a great team. But from that very jump, yeah, if you see him on this, I don't think there's any reason any of those, and I don't know if they have paid obligations there to go on College Game Day or not, but there's absolutely no reason that if you're a head coach with the biggest game of your life on the road, nonetheless, should you be doing that?
Insane.
And even if you are, it's if you have a paid obligation, you're doing your 5-10 minute segment, whatever. don't say anything that's going to be bulletin board material for Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. They're taking that and they're playing that in the locker room before they run out there on the field in front of their home crowd
on loop.
On a loop. And then I mean, you saw I don't know if you saw the Notre Dame. I think it was the linebacker that was getting them fired up for before they ran out 4 quarters of fuck you football. And like after that, it's like you saw those highlights and the Manti Te'o speech earlier in the
it was chalked, dude. It was never chalked.
It was never. And my thing with Indiana is like, and I think you saw this a little bit. You even saw it with Tennessee, which is an SEC team. And so for everyone that's saying, oh, Alabama, Ole Miss should have been in that situation, it's like I think someone made the point. Like you're gonna see blowouts no matter what, whether it's college football or it's NFL. There's just more prepared teams, and Notre Dame was one of those teams. Texas Clemson game actually was close, but Texas was more prepared. Like that, the higher seed, Ohio State was more prepared. Like in those situations, it's just like there are clearly better teams, and you saw it with Indiana. That I don't think if Indiana played anybody in the SEC, if Indiana played anybody that was remotely a better team, even Mizzou, I stand on it that Mizzou would go out there and beat Indiana. Like, yes, Ignetti can talk all that shit and say what he wants, but again, it's
somehow we're at Mizzou.
You got whacked. Well, you got to always throw in that's my bit, right? That's my bit. I'm always going to circle it back to Mizzou and get a little Mizzou plug in. But yeah, no, I thought that especially on when they called the timeout with the fake field goal.
Like, come on,
and they just flashed the camera to Marcus Freeman, and he just smirks.
Smiling,
and then they go to Signetti, and he's just like, God,
fuck,
damn, like just fuck. And I don't disagree completely with what he said about punting, because it's like, yeah, you really had no faith in your offense, but you know he had every bit of faith in his defense that his defense was going to play better for him, and that's more of a shot at I think the offense than anything else.
100%. For everyone in chat asking, the play for the Colts Carolina UTSA game, I nuked the over. So do what you want with that. I played the over. I looked at the game. Both these teams' defenses are ratitude. So I took the over 55.5, super high total. I took the over. I'm starting the Christmas period with an over. So we took the over. So if anyone wants to bet with me, I took the over 55.5. We can sweat it during the show. But I took the over 55.5. Do with that what you will. I'm not touching a side on that game or a spread or anything like that, but I took the over, and that's the play. Nick, you already talked about it. So I want to move to Saturday, where I'm going to be honest. College football playoff should be 4 teams. I know you said there's going to be blowouts. But I saw a tweet and it was like, I hope this is a good lesson to everyone in the world that was begging for this 12-team playoff. And I think here's the situation. College football playoff should be 4 teams, because when there was only 4 teams and you had Justin Fields playing fucking, who's the idiot that got the drunken disorderly on Stetson Bennett? When you had those matchups, when you had Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, those games were potential blowouts. It was always within a touchdown most of the time. Other than that Joe Burrow team, I mean, they just banged people out. But I think Saturday, and maybe it's just the first weekend or the first ever college football playoff jitters where you're watching and you're expecting all these like massive punch outs, blowouts. But I know people like to talk about, the SEC is overblown and the Big Ten is overblown. But I mean, the skill difference, just in the Penn State SMU game, there is no reason other than them winning games. But when you watch that game, there is such a difference between the top of the Big Ten, at least, and conferences like the ACC, because that was honestly an embarrassing loss to me, at least. I have a lot of buddies that went to SMU. I got a lot of friends that are SMU fans. Dude, they didn't even look like they were in the same division of football. They didn't even look like they were in the same division of football. And Kevin Jennings lit up the ACC this year. If you asked me before going into this game, I saw an Instagram post before it that people were talking about Kevin Jennings should have been in the Heisman conversation. And I was sitting there almost agreeing, being like, you know what, dude? Maybe he should be in the Heisman conversation. Maybe he should be in the Heisman conversation. I'm not saying that he didn't have a great year. He had a phenomenal year, but I think there's just such a difference between these conferences, and I think these games really showed it. And I think, like, I don't know, there is just no reason Clemson, SMU, and I'll even go as far to say, I mean, Tennessee with Nico. I took Tennessee because I saw the band member crying. But even Tennessee shouldn't even have been in this playoff, dude. I mean, like, those 3 games, other than the Clemson game, it was like just take the top half of the SEC and the top half of the Big Ten and make them play each other at this point. Like, that was so bad. And, we'll see if Arizona State can do something to Texas, because I think that'll be interesting for the Big 12, because maybe it'll be some Big 12 respect, and you know what I mean? But, I mean, Nick, that SMU Penn State game was the epitome of the playoff should be 8 teams, 4 teams. That Tennessee Ohio State game was the epitome of the playoff should be 8 teams or 4 teams. And I know there's going to be blowouts and that's this and that, and next year it could be different. And I think we all came into this year, Nick, tell me if I'm wrong. The entire thought process was this 12-team playoff is going to be electric because there's not one college football team that's the best. You can't point out a college football team that's the best. SMU, Tennessee, and Clemson lost by a combined almost 60 points, dude. Yeah. And we're sitting here going, there's not one team that's clear cut. There's not a Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, Alabama. There's not a Joe Burrow, LSU. There's not a Trevor Lawrence, Clemson. There's going to be dogfights every game. And then college football does what college football does. And it just shows you, okay, you just gave me a home game against a team that shouldn't even be here. And we beat them by 1,000,000. And the funny part is, Nick, the Indiana game that started the conversation ended up being the closest of the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where it really does come down to coaching, and you're just seeing how much better
100%.
Good coaching, even for as much shit as Ryan Day has gotten, for as much shit as Dabo Swinney gets. They coached that game pretty well against Texas, even though Texas was just
100%.
Clearly a better team. I think the answer was going from 4 to 12 too quickly. I think that if they went to even 6 or even gone to 8, start with that and then go into 12 if they need to continue it from there. Maybe you do that because, like Jovan said, you're going to see blowouts either way. But I think, the questions last year about Florida State was really the only team that there was a big question around. Maybe you could have made a case for one other team. And that's where maybe it makes sense to go to 6 and give the top 2 first-round buys. And I think you got to do not necessarily have the conference champion be the team that gets the bye either. I think that's where you can look at strength of schedule and other factors that determine, hey, who are those top 2 teams that are going to get the buys? Who are the top 4 teams that there's going to be, a bye in the first round that are going to get those buys? And I think even if you went to 8 teams, it's a slower process. Like going straight to 12, that's where you're seeing some of these teams like an SMU. Yes, they play in the ACC. Yes, they're a good team, but are they one of the best teams in the country? No, because they don't play in, a tough conference.
100%, dude.
So it's like you have 2 teams
100%.
that, they play against that are tough matchups. But then again, when you get into a more high leverage situation where these more experienced coaches that have been there before, been in those situations before, know how to play in those environments, and those lower teams that are going on the road. I mean, that to me was the coolest thing about this year's playoff was the hostile home environments for playoff games. Like, to me, that and you have the bowl situation, so it's for the foreseeable future, it's not going to be like this. But the neutral site bowl locations is, I think it takes away from, the beauty of what college football is. Give the top seeds, the best teams, these home environments. Like, imagine a semifinal game.
I don't know if your audio is going in and out for anyone else, but my audio is chalking.
Yeah, you're kind of. I think it might be on your end, but it could be on mine too. I'm not sure.
Hold on.
Mikey on Mars, yeah, Mikey. Nick is tens. I'll just keep talking here for a sec about the college football playoff. But yeah, I mean, Chad, don't you agree with me? Like, college football environments for these home teams that are, the better seeds. Like, you saw how electric it was for the. I'll add you back here. Are you in now?
Oh,
you're here.
Am I here? We got there's triple cameras right now. I'm in both boxes.
We're getting.
I'm in both boxes.
We're getting it sorted out here. Which one's your audio? Which one audio are you on?
The phone. The phone I'm good on. I think I'm good on the phone. I just had to turn the Wi-Fi off.
Got it. Let's just reconnect here. There we go.
Are we good? Can I hear now?
Now we're back.
Oh, yeah, I was on Mars there, dude. You were going in and out. The Wi-Fi in the house might have just actually generationally shit its pants. No, but yeah, I totally agree, Nick. I think, the last thing I heard you say was the home games. I think that was electric. I saw someone in chat. I just wanted to read it really quick. By the way, I'm seeing everybody. What's up, Tommy? What's up, Hitstick Twyman? So this is the one comment that I wanted to ask you about, Nick, because I think it opens up a good conversation, right? The amount of teams is right. Who the committee let in was about the best teams, unfortunately. Bama, Penn State would have been an electric ball game. And I think, this is where it's tough, Nick, where I feel like when you look at the 6-8 teams, right, it's just unfortunate because, one, you got guys like Lane Kiffin on Ole Miss tweeting, being like, that was really, really cool. And then you got Bama fans being like, we should be in here, yada, 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 yada. But the situation is you can't have those 3 losses, right? And that's really unfortunate. But I think anybody sitting there that doesn't think that Bama or Ole Miss would have played Texas or Penn State just a little bit closer, I think is a little bit off their rock, right? I don't know if that's a crazy take. But the problem is that it's impossible for the committee to go, Penn State has 1 loss. How do we not put them in? And then Clemson won their conference championship. But by the way, the ACC this year, for how weak it was, should have maybe had 1 max. Maybe 1. And I think you could make the argument, Nick, that, if you win the conference championship, you get an auto bid. But the minute Clemson beat SMU, I don't think SMU should have been in, even though they have 1 loss. That's a really bad loss, right? And then you replace SMU with a team from the SEC or maybe another Big Ten team. But it's just, it's unfortunate that the first weekend was all blowouts, basically, because I think the 12-team playoff is super exciting. And I think that as we go on, the 12-team is going to be awesome, and it's going to be amazing because those home playoff environments were so sick on TV, dude. I mean, you're seeing half the crowd was Tennessee fans in Ohio State, even though they got punched in the mouth. That Notre Dame crowd was rocking Penn State, and the whiteout was insane. But the committee, I think we got to just – I don't know how you do it because it seems like we went on wins and losses this year, and it didn't work very well in the first round. And I think the second round is going to be really competitive. But if the first round continues to be – just better teams blowing the shit out of bad teams, then I don't know if it's going to be that you might as well just skip that first round and go right to 8 teams. So it's just good teams playing good teams. But I don't know how you do it because you make the argument, okay, well then win your games and you're in. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's very difficult.
And that's where the question remains. And I think what you'll see, you probably won't see this because of the SEC bias and how the SEC believes that their teams are better, but it all comes down to scheduling. These situations can be avoided, and you can keep the 12-team playoff if you force the Boise States to play outside of their conference and in terms of their non-conference games. Because Alabama out here schedules, and Georgia, they're playing a Notre Dame, they're playing a Clemson outside of their conference in that week 1 matchup. Texas played Michigan, even though Michigan wasn't the Michigan team of the national championship team last year. The SEC teams, the big dogs, the teams that are getting favorability or whatever you might say with extra losses, even though Alabama didn't get it this year with that third loss. I mean, Alabama, that's their whole argument is, hey, why do we schedule these tough teams? And that argument's invalid because their losses came within the conference. So to mitigate that entire thing and still play good matchups throughout the week, I'm saying take away these non-conference games. Nobody wants to watch Alabama play Mercer. They want to watch Alabama play SMU during the regular season, and then it'll fix all this stuff. But the SEC bias, I don't think, because every conference that makes their schedule, they do it within their conference and then release their schedule. That's why you're not seeing a lot of outside conference matchups. You're not seeing an SMU go play an Alabama in week 2. And they don't want that either. Because they know, hey, if I lose this game, I might be a 1 or 2 loss team. I still got to play my entire conference schedule. Why would I go out and schedule these tough games now? But that fixes it because then you get Boise State playing a tough game in the regular season. You get SMU playing a tough game. If they win, okay, they prove that they should be there. But if they lose, okay, well, they're out because they have a loss. So I think
100%.
that, in the ACC and the Big 12 and the Big 10 even to a point where they don't play these maybe as tough a schedule as the SEC teams do, that would fix the problem. And then you would be able to keep the 12-team playoff with just better matchups because it would already tell you it doesn't need to be a committee being like, well, 3 losses, Bama might be better than SMU with 1 loss. It's already, because
I think it's tough for the committee, right? Let's say you leave out SMU, you put Bama in.
It's eye test.
You're going to get the SMU team, the SMU fan base, and everyone being like, how do you leave out a 1 loss? There was no winning there. And also it does come down to Win your ball games. Alabama, you can't lose to Vanderbilt. Ole Miss, you can't lose to Kentucky. Win your ball games. This isn't even a conversation. But either way, first weekend of the college football playoff, the environment's lived up to the expectations. I can't wait for the second round. I think these games are going to be way better, way closer. I mean, you get a heavyweight matchup just in the second round of Ohio State having to play Oregon. Like, that's going to be electric. We're going to see what Penn State can do to Boise State. I love the group of 5 action, but I think they might just get their shit blown out. But I did want to say, shout out the coin toss and nailed my whale. I knew Penn State was going to do that to SMU, and I think if we turn the clock back and we watch that episode, I don't want to call him out, but Rav's reasoning on that game made 0 sense. It made 0 sense. Like 0, and I can't wait for our live show, the coin toss, coming towards the end of this week, but it made 0 sense. If you go watch it back, I would love if the Bookit account clipped it for today and posted it, because it basically was Penn State's not going to be able to play in the chilly cold, even though that's where their players are from. That's what they played in all year, and they play in the Big Ten. They don't have to throw the ball. They're just going to run it down their throat, and they did exactly that. And Rav was like, it's going to be too cold to throw the ball. They're not ready for the cold, but the kids from Texas are going to come in and play in the cold. Like, we're going to have to be better, and I'm going to have to address it on the next coin toss. But that was phenomenal. Like, that was phenomenal. Wailed Penn State's team told ended up smacking. That was the only game that I was really dialed in on, dude. I took some dogs, did not end up well, but I want to go to the NFL, where I had potentially one of the funniest Jekyll and Hyde afternoons of my entire life. Sitting there watching the 1 o'clocks with my dad. We didn't watch a Jets game at all because I'm in protest. We were putting ornaments on the tree the night before, and I forgot my mom got me a little Jets ornament from like 2010 when I was a little kid, and it's like a little Jets uniform, and it says like 2010 on it, whatever. I posted on Twitter, but and then someone responded, the Jets haven't even sniffed the playoffs since you got this ornament. So maybe it's the ornament curse. Maybe I have to break the ornament, but I literally looked at everyone in my family. I said, this is not going on the tree. I put it back in the box. So the Jets jersey is not on the tree. I'm protesting the rest of the year. But so we're watching the 1 o'clocks. It's coming down to the end. I didn't really post anything on Twitter because I didn't really want to bet the 1 o'clocks, other than Michael Penix's pass yards ended up not coming through. We'll talk about Michael Penix in a second. But it gets to the Cardinals-Panthers game. And I was like, and if the Panthers beat the Cardinals, they're eliminated. I'm a big Kyler guy. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. He's posting on TikTok about Trey McBride. He's like, 85 can get in the end zone soon. I promise everybody. Comes down to it. I'm texting one of my buddies. We had this total cheeser that came down. We teased Cardinals to plus 2.5. It was a field goal game. We were like, dude, all we needed to get to overtime, and then we're going to nuke the Cardinals. Nailed the field goal. We're going to overtime. And I look at the overtime odds, and the Cardinals are minus 200. And I never do this, dude. I never do this. Like, I never do it. I just stick with my original bet, and I let it ride unless it's like super, super, super plus chicken. I wailed the Cardinals at minus 200. I was like, the Cardinals are not getting eliminated. Kyler is not getting eliminated. And I thought it'd be a phenomenal tweet because I was like, you know what? I never put my meat on the table for minus 200s. I've seen Krabs do it. I've seen Trent do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wail it. And I'm going to post it out there and be like, yeah, I'm a little bitch boy. I took minus 200, but I wailed it. I'm sitting there with my dad. And I was like, just took the Cardinals live, minus 200. And he didn't know what that means. And I'll tell you why he didn't know what that means a little later. But I was like, yeah, I wailed the Cardinals, minus 200, need them to win. And dude, Nick, we're sitting there watching overtime. Panthers punt the ball. Cardinals get the ball in like their own 15. I was like, ooh, this is going to be a long drive. But you know what? There's one thing I know about the Panthers. They're a rat shit org, so Kyler should drive. Incomplete, run play, incomplete, go for it on 4th and 3. We get the first. I was like, oh my God, we're back. Oh my God, we're back. Gannon took his nuts out. We got the 4th and 3. This is huge. We're marching. It seemed as though Kyler just turned his brain off. I've never seen anything like it out of a quarterback with this important of a game. It just seemed like he turned his brain off. And we're missing throws. We're checking it down. We're running outside the pocket, not knowing what's going on. Punt the ball back to the Panthers. And I'm sitting there going, this is really bad. And my mom comes in the kitchen. She's like, Mike, are you going to help me make dinner? And I was like, yeah. I'm just going to work out after this Cardinals game. And we're sitting there, Chuba Hubbard. Panthers get the ball. I was like, okay, we have a chance to get a stop here. We're like on the 50, but, I don't trust the Panthers kicker if we can just, hold them right here. First play, Chuba Hubbard, 30-yard rip. I was like, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there watching TV, And my dad's like, "You're gonna work out after the game, and then you're gonna help your mom." And I was like, "Yeah." We're sitting there while they're going to the game. Bryce Young throws the ball incomplete. I was like, "Okay, maybe if we stand them up here, maybe they missed the field goal." Second play, handed off Chuba Hubbard, 30-yard rip touchdown. Dude, I sat there, Nick, and it felt like I've never wailed a minus 200 like that live, which, by the way, probably the biggest donation I've ever made in my entire life. But sitting there, it genuinely felt like somebody ripped my soul out of my chest. And then the commercial comes up for the 4 o'clocks, and it's like touchdown scores, Josh Allen, whatever. And I'm sitting there, and my soul's gone, and I'm just like sitting on the couch taking in. And of course, my dad doesn't really understand like the whole gambling thing still. And once the Panthers scored, he was like, "Oh, that does it. What a great run, though." And I was just like, "Yep." As my soul just getting ripped out. And then that commercial comes up for like it's for a sports book, and it says like Josh Allen, anytime touchdown, minus 45. And my dad goes, after I told him they're minus 200, he goes, "So what do those numbers mean?" And I was like, "Oh, well, minus 140, if put 100 on it, you get this much back, or whatever. You put 200 on it, you get that much back." And he goes, "So minus 200, that's
A lock.
yeah, that's no." He was just like, "That's like that should happen." I was like, "Yep, definitely should happen." And he goes, "Well, all right, you go work out and help your mother make dinner." And I'm just sitting there like, dude, holy shit. But then, I was like, you know what? I need to get in my bag. All my buddies are chirping me in the group chat. I was like, need on tape. These 3 guys are scoring touchdowns. If they don't, I'll buy everyone in here a 6-pack. And it was Tyreek Hill. Come on.
Nice.
It was Jordan Addison. Come on.
Nice.
And it was DK Metcalf. Come on.
Wow.
Nick, I literally, and this never happens to me. And by the way, I think it was the squarest Sunday of touchdown scores. You could have took Jamar, Justin Jefferson, Saquon Barkley. You could have picked any of the top guys in the league other than Mike Evans, which I also took late night. And I think you were green as ma. But dude, I've never been that dialed in on touchdown scores after losing a minus 200 to hitting a plus 200, plus 185, and a plus 110. Dude, I felt like the guy that the cartoon Megamind, the guy in the blue that's got the huge head. And I was texting my buddies after every touchdown came through just with the check mark. I'd be like, Tyreek Hill, check mark. Jordan Addison, check mark. DK Metcalf, check mark. And then I had a 2-piece Bob Dolphins money line in the over in the Seattle game. So I kind of dialed it in. But I mean, yeah, I got it back for sure. But I mean, that minus 200, dude, it's still eating at me, bro. I woke up this morning in like a cold sweat. Like, Kyler, just get the first down. It's literally how I woke up this morning.
Well, my lock of the week was Cardinals minus 4.5. So I'm right there with you.
God,
there's no way. Yeah, playoffs on the line. They need to win or they're dead essentially, and they couldn't take care of business. And I think in that game specifically, losing James Conner in the second half definitely hurt them. I mean, people still
it exposes Kyler when stuff
it does. It does. And yeah, for whatever reason, I took the bait too on the K1 tweet. I took Trey McBride 2+ touchdowns, got like 3 receptions.
Jeez.
I mean, they weren't feeding him at all.
But then you see him. Did you see him after the game, Nick, in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Trey McBride going, "Those guys are so fucking bad. We should have beat them. We're sorry as fuck." And it's like, damn, dude. Like, they're going in that locker room. And I saw a tweet too, Nick, and maybe it's a conversation we need to have as a company. Maybe it's a conversation we need to have as a football fan and as a public. Kyler Murray just quietly gets to play at the 4 o'clocks and shit down his leg every year. It feels like, should we be having conversations that Kyler Murray's a bust? Like, we haven't, from what he came in at the level we expect from him. And now he's got Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner. Like, he just kind of quietly at the 4 o'clocks. It seems like every Sunday he's at 4 o'clock. He just quietly blows big games consistently.
Honestly, I would like to see Kyler play on another team to see if the Cardinals offensive line for a while didn't really give him help. And he has had a lot of injuries in his career already. That's what you get with smaller quarterbacks. But I definitely think in certain situations, he hasn't had that clutch factor like he did in in high school or college in the NFL.
No,
yet. We haven't
definitely
seen
not.
we haven't
The kid
seen
we saw at
that.
Oklahoma, I don't think has
Yeah.
suited up once for the
Yeah,
Cardinals.
and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's I'm not an NFL player. I know NFL quarterback is probably the hardest position to play in any
I mean,
sport.
definitely
So,
for sure.
but I would be interested to see in a different system on a different team. Like, is he the same player? Because we see quarterbacks all the time switch teams and have
Sam
a resurgence or go the opposite way and be shittier than their previous team too at times. So would definitely be interested to see. But yeah, Cardinals are always one of those teams that are tough to bet on, especially in a spot like -4.5. I was going to say that's a tricky number. The NFL is hard to bet on as it is, but you get a team like Carolina who's been mostly down all year, and now Bryce Young's starting to come up a little bit again. And
which, by the way,
was a coin stealing spot for sure.
Which, by the way, I couldn't be happier for Bryce Young. I've been a big Bryce Young fan since Alabama,
Also
just because
smart,
he
so
seems
I
like
think,
such a great guy. And the amount of shit he's been taking for just being on literally a generationally bad roster in the Panthers and people expecting him to do what Pat Mahomes does on the Chiefs just because he was the Heisman and from Alabama and he's the best quarterback, probably took him #1 overall. The kid is a good fucking quarterback, dude. Like, people forget he's thrown Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, and last year all he had was Adam Thielen. Like, you got to give a kid like that more time in a system where they have zero, dude. And honestly, it's nice to see like him smiling and him dropping passes in the bucket. Like, Bryce Young is going to be a great quarterback. He's so mature for how young he is, and he's exactly who we thought he was, and now he's becoming that. And I think we expected immediate success in the first year because it's Bryce Young. They took him first overall. They passed on some other guys. Like, this was the guy, the fucking coach came out and said, I wanted CJ Stroud. And then that makes Bryce Young look even worse. And, I give him a lot of credit. He's never complained. He just kind of head down, lost his spot this year, took it back, and he's looked great ever since. And a win like this, like, that puts a smile on his face. Yeah. He's coming out being like, there's nowhere else I'd rather be, like, whatever it is. He's just an all-time pro, and I hope he has a great career. But, Nick, there's a couple games I want to talk about from this Sunday. I don't want to talk about every game because it was kind of an underwhelming Sunday. Jaden Daniels.
Dog.
Jaden Daniels. You want to talk about maybe taking CJ Stroud over Bryce Young? I'll tell you what should have happened. The Bears should have taken fucking Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams, Nick, because I got news for you. This kid, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. And we can talk about CJ Stroud from last year. We can talk about some great rookie performances out of quarterbacks. This kid is going to be generational. And I don't even mind saying it, dude. From being down 14 zip, 21 zip, coming all the way back, the things that this kid does in the football field at this age, as a rookie, it's mind-boggling, dude. It's mind-boggling how good this kid is to be a rookie. And it's not like, and I don't think Jaden Daniels is one of these guys like CJ Stroud where there might be second year, a little bit of a slump because you're going to have more tape on him. There's no amount of tape you can watch on Jaden Daniels to know what he's going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though Devontae Smith dropped that ball and juggled that ball, and the Eagles probably could have won that game, and obviously, Jalen Hurts gets injured. But you remove everything that happened with the Eagles. For Jaden Daniels to stay in that game, keep the mindset, and then go to win that ball game. And by the way, the Eagles' defense was healthy, right? So we can make the argument of the Eagles' offense maybe not being there. But by the way, you had a 21-point lead with a great defense. So how about you stop the kid? And he just stayed in that game, made plays with his feet. And that touchdown pass at the end of the game is the epitome of why I genuinely believe Caleb Williams is never going to sniff his level. Mm-hmm. Like, Caleb Williams doesn't have that clutch factor. Caleb Williams tries to make plays, but then you look at a real playmaker like Jaden Daniels, that's how you make plays. That's a playmaker, dude. Like, Jaden Daniels takes nothing and makes a play. Caleb Williams takes nothing with better weapons, by the way, and does zero.
Yeah. Caleb Williams also doesn't have an offensive line. I think once Caleb Williams has an offensive line, I want to see how he progresses a little bit more. But Jaden Daniels is certainly a two-dimensional player. And when you have that second dimension and the ability to run, I think that takes away a lot of things on the defensive side of the ball that the defense can do. So that's definitely been interesting to watch. And the key factor, it was a key factor in this game with Washington was their second wide receiver, not even Terry McLaurin, Olamide Zaccheaus, who has really stepped up. I mean, he's kind of been
Stepped up.
He's been kind of irrelevant. He played on the Falcons, was like a third or fourth guy there, but then this is the first week where his target share has increased in the past couple of weeks and has really stepped up as the Commanders' second wide receiver, which they haven't really had a solid second wide receiver to go along with Terry. So that was I'm interested to see how he progresses too in the next year. If I don't know what his contract situation is, but as a kind of a relevant player that was the guy that caught 2 touchdowns in this game, definitely helped them quite a bit. But Jaden Daniels is just, he's fun to watch. He's gonna be fun to watch for years to come, and just, I mean, probably says something too about coming from LSU, coming from playing in the SEC too. I mean, this guy's a gamer. He's a dog.
SEC mentioned.
Yeah, gotta get in there.
I mean, dude,
he won the Heisman last year. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, I'm such a Jaden Daniels guy, and like, I think if you told me that the Commanders are going to be where they are right now in this season in his first year, I might have looked at you a little crazy and been like, dude, they're not going to be competing in that division. They're not going to be competing to be in the playoffs. Like, there's no way. And speaking of competing and being in the playoffs, dude, the Bengals might squeak. After 3 weeks ago, reporters asking Joe Burrow, do you lose motivation knowing that you're probably not making the playoffs this year? To now we're looking at, okay, if this team loses and the Bengals win out, and by the way, the Bengals look like the Bengals that might make a playoff run now, is Joe Burrow going to fucking squeak in the playoff? Dude, I mean,
touchdown throw that
Joe
he had.
Burrow, like, we're talking about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Should Joe Burrow be the MVP? I mean, this guy is incredible. Dude. He's throwing touchdown passes in Superman poses. He's throwing touchdown passes across his body. Like, dude, Joe Burrow is having a year on a team, by the way, that if his defense didn't allow 30 points a game, we'd probably be going, Joe Burrow is literally the MVP. I mean, you give him a defense that's somewhat comparable, I think he maybe has 2 losses.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where the Cincinnati defense actually has stepped up too in the last 2 weeks. I mean, they've played much better, and you're definitely thinking, man, if this Cincinnati defense could have played like this all year, I mean, there's still a chance that they do make the playoffs. One of the commenters in the game was saying that they should have a committee for the NFL, because then the Bengals would definitely be what team to get in.
An NFL committee would be
another LSU SEC quarterback.
Yeah, seriously, dude. I mean, those LSU kids. We'll see what Garrett Nussmeier does next year, but
built different.
I mean, other than that, there wasn't a lot that happened. I mean, Sunday Night Football was insane. The Cowboys and Cooper Rush somehow squeak out another one. Michael Penix, if you're a Falcons fan, this is your guy. I don't know why we wasted so much time. I understand you paid Kirk, and that's why you take the time you do. But, I mean, Nick, when it comes down to – and as a Jets fan, not that we're in the same situation where Jordan Travis is ready by any means, but when you draft a guy like Penix in the first round after paying Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins just does – what he did all year, and you wait as long as you do to put a guy like Michael Penix, and then he comes in and is exactly who you thought he was going to be and is spinning that football and beats the dog shit out of the Giants, even though the Giants aren't a team that you'd be like, wow, that's a respectable team. To beat them 34-7, the Falcons, Nick, looked like a completely different offense.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, Nick, on Sunday, and I'm going, did any of these guys even play with Kirk? Because they all look different. Bijan's getting 2 touchdowns. I remember in the beginning of the year, we'd be like, Bijan touchdown. He wouldn't even sniff the red zone. Like, Michael Penix made Darnell Mooney again look like fucking prime Odell. And we haven't seen Darnell Mooney do anything in 6 weeks. First game with Michael Penix, he got 8 receptions, 90 yards. Like, if I'm a Falcons fan, I'm almost sitting here banging my head against the wall going, why didn't we do this earlier? Why didn't we do this earlier? Even watching the practice tape, Michael Penix can spin that thing, dude. Spin that thing.
Kyle Pitts still shit, even with a new quarterback.
I mean, yeah, we got to have that Kyle Pitts conversation.
That is
he got drafted from Florida. It was like, this kid is the next great tight end. He's junk.
He's had now like 5 different quarterbacks. Might not be the quarterbacks that are the problem anymore.
Dude, he's junk.
That was what he caught that play for a touchdown and he just dropped, just bounced off his hands.
Like, what is he?
I mean, it was right to him, bouncing the air. Like, wow.
I saw this thing. It was that meme where it's like the miner, and it's like like, when he gets close and then the other guy's giving up.
Yeah.
And it was like Michael Pitt's fantasy owners. It's like the guy giving up, and behind the dirt, it's just trash bags.
Yeah.
It's like it never gets better.
There's no diamond. It's just trash.
Yeah, it never gets better, dude. It never gets better.
One
But yeah, I
diamond,
mean,
not draft. Fuck.
I seriously, next year, holy shit. But I mean, other than that, it was kind of an uneventful Sunday. I mean, somehow Sam Darnold, this Vikings team. I mean, I agree with the guys on ESPN. At some point, we're going to have the conversation that Sam Darnold's good. I don't know how good he has to look and how many games he has to win for us to be like, oh, maybe this isn't the Sam Darnold from past seasons, that he's actually a good quarterback this year.
They were talking about, Kevin O'Connell being coach of the year. Had a running back coming in that people thought was washed up, lost his QB1, had a QB2 that no one believed in, had a wide receiver 2 that no one really believed in, had a tight end that was out most of the year, defense that had question marks, and they're right there. Might still win the division.
Literally right there.
Like, might still win the division. That's
but unfortunately
for how well they are.
Chiefs are going to do it again. So, this means nothing.
They won't beat it.
Dude, they got voodoo witch magic, Nick. Tank Dell's knee literally pops out of his leg. And you looking over at Pat Mahomes' injury from 2 weeks ago, his leg is completely sideways. Now they're saying he's totally fine. All he needs is a Percocet and he's good to go.
Blow it up.
They are sacrificing baby animals in that locker room, and I need someone to find out how. I know they are. I know they are.
Everything. Hey, shout out you guys this weekend, or the Bookit team this weekend. We finally cashed a community boosted play.
Oh, yes.
Last night.
Shout out Pixmas. We finally did it.
Shout out Jake Ferguson, Trent's play. Shout out Bucky Irving, touchdown from Jovan.
Yeah, that was electric. That was a
W cash. Shout out Lauren for the HN. I think it was rushing attempts for 12.
They just came together in the right way, dude.
Yeah.
They came together in the right way.
It was never a doubt. Never a doubt. The Jake Ferguson one, which Trent was playing, was a doubt because some people got bumped. And then on literally the last play of the game,
unbelievable.
He had that extra catch to cash the bump yards.
Unbelievable, dude.
Which was nuts.
And I mean, I think you got to give Bookit our flowers. Chelly, 4 Chelles in a row. Lauren was just absolutely coming through on the community plays. And then Trent at you. Bookit with Trent, dude. He's missed one primetime bet in 11 games. He, by all accounts, I'm going to cross my fingers. I'm not going to jinx it, but by all accounts, it's looking like the goat whale is going to hit. So he basically almost won 100 racks this weekend. I mean, I don't think Josh Allen's going to blow it, but you never know. The kid is on a generational run. And I feel like I'm sitting here on the sidelines, nuking minus 200 Cardinals live, while he is just, I mean, I've never seen someone in such a flow state, dude. Like 3 Fugazi 5s in a row. Then he's nailing prime times. Then the goat whale's coming through. Then he hits a 6 leg that comes through for another 5 racks. Like, the kid is drowning in money.
Yeah, 37,501 days a dream. And he's still down 3,000 on the month, which that 3,000 is only on Prize Pick, so he's technically up.
Dude, he is drowning in cash, and I feel like I got a 3-piece loss on a Prize Pick, CD yards. Dude, like, what the hell, man? The kid's drowning in cash. He's literally on fire. And it's so funny because I know people on social media play the game that I play. I see Trent tweet out a play, and just because of past trauma and PTSD, you want to go, fuck, that play's fucked.
Yeah, he's been hot.
Fuck, dude, he's the fade guy. Like, that's
he's
not hitting. And then you look at his recent record, and you're going, dude, the kid is on fuego. So I might as well tail him. And, like, at this point, but there's so much PTSD that you're like, I almost can't. But then you check back in his Twitter, and it's like, green, 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 green. He puts out weekend benders, and every leg is coming through in the first half. And I'm sitting there pulling my hair out like, why didn't I just tail this one?
Yeah, someone just said in chat, I was going to say the good luck charm is Manny. Ever since he got Manny, he's turned into a better.
Dude, he's been dialed since he got Manny.
Just wild.
Like, this kid he might have, like, Nick, in a 4-month span, he might have just beat, shout out C. Trum, he might have just beat the Fade God allegations.
Might have.
Like, we might have to start putting that on other people like myself, because he might have just erased it.
We need to do like a ESPN 30 for 30 from Fade God to, I don't know.
What if I told you the worst bettor on the planet became the best?
Check, give me some names for a Trent 30 for 30. I need some inspiration here.
Oh, 30 for 30.
From Faye God to Bezos. I need something like
30 for 30.
There'd be so many good options for names.
I'm just seeing it. 30 for 30. The Fade God story, or the
Yeah. It would be like, what if I told
I
you?
can already see the intro. What if I told you the worst better in the world somehow turned it around and became the best?
It would open up with like a clip of him at the Russell Westbrook interview, and then just like the generational the transition into a degenerate sports bettor.
From Fade God to Green Gob.
From
That is so good. Shout out me name's Jeffrey. That's so good. But dude, it's also
Jeffrey's
like
getting royalties on the 30 for 30 for that one.
It's also, Nick, and I think the frustrating part is, having bet the NFL for the past 2 years and not including this season, I used to be, not that I'm calling Trent square, but when you look at PTT, a lot of it is the favorites. I was the guy last year, and it feels like every time I take a favorite, I lose my ass, because it's always like Vegas is really sharp on the NFL. Vegas is really sharp on the And I, dude, for the past years, I've always been the guy that's like, -6.5 at home, this team should cover that spread at home. And then they get hook of mod.
Yeah.
And it's like this year, dude, they are just like, it's like you just click favorites and it comes through. And and for whatever reason, I've stopped doing that. I think because you get burnt so many times. But it's like, dude, college football playoff, Nick, you take every favorite, you lost one. Mm-hmm. You lost one. Out of 4 games, you lost one if you took every favorite. And I used to be the guy, take every favorite. I was literally my thing. I would take every favorite. I'd be like, give me Ohio State, give me, and now it's like I'm trying to take underdogs, be a little sharp, be a little whatever. And it's like, this year, man.
It is tough. I think you have to take everyone has their different systems, but I think you have to take the numbers out of it. I never look at line movement or anything like that. And like, I think it sometimes line movement does become true if it moves one way or the other, but I think you just got to look at the teams and find those narratives on players and guys and coaches that you like better than the other side. Cause like if I look at Notre Dame, Indiana, I would never in a million years been taking Indiana. Never in a million years. Like
I was taking Indiana literally for the.
I would never have in a million years taken SMU. It's like I'm like, okay, here's a team that plays in this conference, and here's a team that plays a much tougher schedule, like or has coaches that have been there before. I mean, even the Clemson Texas game, they ended up covering, right? It was 14.
Yeah, 12.5.
They ended up covering.
Like, now I got smoked. Dude, and all Clemson had to do was stop Jaden Blue from breaking off a 90-yard touchdown run. Like, give me a fucking break.
And that was the thing. That game. That was interesting with Texas in the Texas-Clemson game. Texas completely changed their game plan for that. They went all 100% run game and went away from what they've been doing all
As
year.
They should, because Quinn Ewers sucks. And I don't know why Dabo wasn't like, stop the run, make him throw the ball, because he can't throw the fucking ball. He's a bad quarterback. And then Texas was like, oh, wait. We have Wisner and Jaden Blue. Let's just make the guy that's literally lost us every game that we've lost stop throwing the ball.
Not that Dabo hasn't been there before, but Sark was in the semifinal last year. That's just good adjustment.
Good adjustment.
Just a good adjustment.
And dude, it's just I just got to get more square. I got to get back in my square bag. I got to lock back in.
Nothing wrong with that. No one said you had to be sharp. Nobody says you have to be sharp. Sometimes squares pays. Sometimes squares
have to be sharp.
The whole thing about the sharps are on this, nobody gives a fuck. The sharps that are on the sharp side, I'll tell you that as somebody used to work with sharps and run a company called Sharp Angle Sports.
Sharp Angle.
Sharps are betting maybe in an NFL slate. One of the best NFL guy I ever saw was 66% against the spread over 5 years. He would bet sometimes one game a week, some maximum 3, but sometimes one game and sometimes 0. Sharps are betting. Sharps are betting large amounts of money in very specific spots. Sharps are not betting every weekend. So if you're gonna bet every weekend, you might as well go square because it probably is going to pay you more often than not. Or go square in the right spots. Don't go square on -200s. Go square on -145s if you consider that square.
And Nick, the over that I took 0-0 at the end of the first. Shout out me. Holy fuck, I'm generationally bad right now. Speaking of sharps, speaking of betting, let's go over the slate. We're going to talk about today's games. We're going to talk about the Christmas games. We're going to talk about the Netflix games. We're going to talk about everything. I'm going to give you the early plays that I think I'm going to be on. Obviously the Christmas games and the Christmas Eve games might change a little bit here. But, Nick, we got Monday Night Football, Saints-Packers.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I texted one of my buddies. He texts me his one-man, one game every single day.
Nice.
The one-man, one game is 0-10 in its last 10. So it's ice cold. It's basically a curse. So I texted him and I said, stop bitching. Give me your one man, one game. I'm tweeting it out. Like I'm taking his one man, one game, and it's now mine.
Hell yeah.
So that I didn't decide. So because I think I would have cursed him, just so everybody knows, I would have taken Jaden Reed because I would have went back to the well that lost last game because I think this game's going to get opened up for the Packers a little bit. One man, one game is going to be Christian Watson.
That's a good one. That's what I was going to say.
And that's the one he went for. Okay, so we're going Christian Watson. One man, one game. It wasn't my pick, so therefore it feels safe and protected.
Nice.
So I didn't put my hands all over it, cursing Christian Watson. And it's really disappointing because I used to love the one man, one game, and now it gives me anxiety when I put it out because I just know it's not coming through. And I thought Mike Evans was going to be the guy to break the curse. He wasn't. I still cursed Mike Evans, so that sucked. Christian Watson today is the one man, one game. So just everybody in Chatamus, if you're taking the one man, one game, I feel confident about it today because it's not my play. Not my play.
Fair enough.
So that's it. Christian Watson, one man, one game. Nick, I will say, though, we just talked about being square, talked about the sharp angles. I would love to know what Trent's going to be on today, so I'm going to monitor his Twitter.
Yep.
But you can't tell me in any world that 14 points isn't just too many for an NFL game.
Too many.
Like
14
is just way too many. You saw it with the Bills. I don't think they covered. I don't remember the end of that score, but they were minus 14 against the Patriots. 14 just, it feels like way too many points.
Too many points.
And I think Spencer Rattler is going to be the quarterback for the Saints. And, I do know that the Packers have a good defense. I do trust the Packers defense. I think they're going to be able to run all over the Saints, but I'm leaning just taking 14 points of Spencer Rattler, dude.
Yeah, so the situation in this one is, and that's exactly what I.
And Dilgod said, didn't we just talk about simply squaring up?
Simply
I know the chat right now is just going to rip me. Mikey needs to be square. Also, Mikey, I'm taking Christian Watson.
no. So again, if you're betting spreads, plus 14.5 actually is a square play. Juiced on blue down to minus 120 versus taking minus 14.5 with minus 102. So technically, this is a square play, and I agree because I don't know who the hell was that quarterback last week before it was Spencer Rattler. I can't remember.
That guy should be put in jail
or something. Awful. But Spencer Rattler, I think, is going to give you. They're not going to. I don't think they win the game, but they're going to give you a chance. I think 14.5 in the NFL. I mean, to take the worst NFL team there is, 14.5 is a lot of fucking points.
So many points for the fucking National Football League.
You're getting hooked. You're getting hooked there too. So 2 touchdowns and a field goal. But no Alvin Kamara, he's out. So you're out with you lose your best player. I don't know who they're trotting out at wide receiver these days. Cedric Wilson, I guess. Not a lot of offensive weapons. Not a lot of offensive weapons.
Let me tell you, we got just so you know, Nick, in terms of odds, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players before you get to the first Saints player that's favored to score a touchdown. And then after that, 1, 2, 3.
Which one are you looking at? Which
Green Book.
You're looking at green. I'm blue. They got Kendre Miller at number 2 as the most likely to score. But yeah, after that, it's nothing.
And Nick, do you know who's the most likely to score after Kendre Miller on the goddamn Saints? And it's a close tie. It's the Saints defense and Jamal Williams.
Wow,
is what I got. Cedric Williams is plus 600. Cedric Wilson is plus 600. The Saints defense is plus 500. Jamal Williams is plus 475. So maybe the Saints are going to get their shit blown, dude.
I mean, so here's the thing, too. You got to look at the total.
Tell me the Saints defense is just a little bit worse odds than Jamal Williams.
The total's low, 42.5. So if you like the over, I think that the bet is probably to take the Packers, but
holy shit, they're trotting out Dante Pettis.
Because I don't know how much the Saints are going to be able to score in this game. So it's really going to come down to the Saints defense is the Saints defense, if you're looking at the total, is the Saints defense going to be doing enough to stop Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs? I don't know. Nick,
they might get their shit blown now that I'm looking at these odds.
Yeah. I mean, Green Bay is. You think, how can it not be a Green Bay blowout? But because how are the Saints going to score? How are they going to score? No Alvin Kamara, nobody wide receiver. There's a lot of question marks up in the air. But I think Spencer Rattler, keep it close. That's my dog. That was my dog pick this week on my show, was Saints plus 14.5. So we'll see.
Dude, the fact that the New Orleans Saints defense is plus 500 to score and Jamal Williams is plus 475. I don't know if the Saints are even going to score a touchdown.
To me, this one just looks like the Packers are going to be up by like 3 touchdowns. Start just running the ball, control the clock, and then somehow the Saints get a touchdown late in the game and squeak out the cover. Like this seems like a New Orleans backdoor cover to me.
Dude, are those odds not insane to you?
Yeah, I mean,
what?
Third and one.
Oh, bang! Over's back. UTSA scored.
Bang.
Over's back. 6-0. Just kidding. The over's dead. Yeah, Nick. I think I'm going to take the Packers minus 14.5. Actually,
well,
I think they're going to blow their shit. Like this is going to get bad. I think.
I'll be on the Saints plus 14.5.
Who the hell is he throwing to? MVS and Jawan?
If you're the new fade god, maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
That you're taking the opposite. So
yeah, honestly though, maybe it's just Packers team total. Don't be a bitch. Take the Packers team total.
Honestly, I thought that was. I mean, it was your whale, but I like that whale from the coin toss this week, taking the Penn State team total, not even fucking with any of the spreads in those games, even though half of them are free.
Dude, I'm thinking maybe it's just the Saints team total if I could find it.
Yeah.
Team props. Here we go. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
I like those.
Team total. Here we go. The Packers team total over 28.5. Dude, I think they score 30.
Yeah, that's
because, by the way, you got to think, okay, the Saints defense is pretty comparable. This Packers offense looks like it's been, I mean, Jordan Love, it just depends on the day. He's either the greatest quarterback ever or he's turned the ball over, but it is still Toyotathon, and he's goated during Toyotathon. But you got to think Spencer Rattler's probably going to be punting the ball and giving them great field possession all game.
We do have to get that is a good point right here. The weather check there is snow today in Green Bay, but it doesn't look like there will be Jay Thompson's 30 degrees in snow. Don't see a ton of passing in the game where Nola can't defend the run. Doesn't look like a lot of snow at game time. So there is snow earlier in the day until about 3:00. So that'll be interesting.
Nate, right. I live right next to Lambeau and it's currently snowing. Okay.
Yeah, it's snowing right now, but it won't be snowing at game time. So it's not going to be like blizzard weather. I still think the Packers will be able to throw the ball. Depends on if the Saints can move the ball like at all, though. That's the question.
Damn.
Josh Jacobs 2+ TDs could be a good look.
Nick, that could be the look.
That could be the look because he is what?
That could literally be the look.
Minus like 200 score. So, like that does feel like
could literally be
a good bet.
That could literally be the look. Maybe just Josh Jacobs game. Maybe I fade the buddy and I say no Christian Watson. I do my own thing.
I don't think you can bet Packers money line, but what's actually Packers money line in a total parlay?
Dude, I think they're minus 1,400.
Well, they're minus 1,100, but if you parlay it with the total, it goes to plus 114 on the under and minus 104 on the over. That's not good value.
All right, well, let's stay in the NFL. Let's go to the Christmas games that I believe are going to be on Netflix, correct, Nick?
Yes, sir.
And by the way, guys, really big announcement. The Bookit Sports YouTube will actually be streaming the Cheez-It Under Armour Backpack Bowl.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. But that would be electric, dude. If we could get a bowl game.
You got a bowl game?
That would be so sick. All right, what would be the most Bookit Sports college football bowl game? Let me think.
The fucking Duke's Mayo Bowl?
No, but who, like, what two teams would play?
Oh.
Let me think.
That's a great.
Like, what would be the most, like, Bookit Sports two college football teams in our bowl game?
Yeah, Chad, help us out here.
And it can't be. No way we're Power 4.
It can't be. No, it can't. And it's not fans.
No way we're Power 4.
Like not Virginia Tech, not Texas, Penn State.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be any fandoms. It's got to just be.
It's got to be like a UTSA or like a fucking,
You know
like
what it is? You know what it is, Nick?
Like a Marshall.
Definitely a team from the MAC.
Yeah.
There's definitely a MAC. Like whatever team in the MAC just like Akron.
Like
just Akron.
Bowling Green.
Yeah, maybe Bowling Green. It's definitely a MAC school, and then like, oh, I gotta think. It's definitely a MAC school, and then San Jose State.
Yeah.
That's the most Bookit bowl game of all time. You got Toledo versus San Jose State. That would be the most Bookit bowl game of all time.
Sam Houston. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
we'd get UNT, yeah, or we just take UNT.
Always take UNT, call it a day.
Bowling Green, San Jose State would be the most Bookit Sports bowl game of all time.
What's our brand? You know how they'll do like the GoDaddy Cheez-It Bowl, or like they'll do
Yeah, what's our main sponsor? Yeah, it's got to be something weird like Roman. You know those pills that people take?
Yeah.
They're Roman pills. or like the blue chews. Something so dumb. That would be so good. The Bookit Blue Chew Bowl, Toledo versus San Jose State.
The Zin Bookit Bowl.
It's just me and Krabs on the call. That'd be so funny.
That would be. Yeah, the Sprig.
The Sprig Bowl.
The Sprig Bowl. Welcome back to the Bookit Sports Sprig Bowl.
Welcome to the Bookit Sports Sprig Bowl, where Toledo's facing off against San Jose State.
That honestly would be a really funny bit, like the Key and Peele sketches where they have like they fake like they're doing a game or whatever, and you guys are just in the booth. They cut to the booth.
That'd be so good, dude. That would be so good.
Trent quarterback,
Chelly and Lauren on the sidelines, dude. That would be so good. Oh my god,
Lauren on the headset just screaming at Trent to fucking throw the ball.
That would be so good.
I think we need to reenact that.
Yeah, that might have to happen. All right, Nick, we got 2 Christmas Day games.
2 Christmas days.
If your family doesn't like sports, they won't be on. If your family doesn't care what you're doing after you open presents, they'll be on. We'll start with the game that's earlier in the day. The Chiefs are taking on the Steelers. Nick, I mean, I'm just always going to be the guy to say it. I'm always going to be the guy that's going to stand up even when no one else wants to just say it. The Chiefs are just going to do it again.
Yep.
And they're going to beat the Steelers at home. Hollywood Brown is healthy. Travis Kelce's healthy. This Chiefs team just now is going to start to snap in the playoff form. And you're going to start getting the Pat Mahomes that everyone's saying isn't a top 5 quarterback this year, which he's not this year. Just this year, he's not. You're going to start getting the Pat Mahomes that is a generational Hall of Fame quarterback, and a Chiefs team that's probably going to walk into Pittsburgh, even though it's going to be chilly, and even though Pickens might play, and even though Russell Wilson looked good against the Ravens. He's just going to do what the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes do on prime time, and they're just going to dismantle the Steelers. And once again, we're going to watch a whole Sunday of football, and then we're going to get to the Chiefs on prime time, and everyone in America is going to have to do what we do every single week and sit there and go, Chiefs are going to do it again.
And then
that's just the reality.
Then this game's going to open up with the TJ Watt strip sack fumble in for a touchdown right off the bat.
Of course.
First drive of the game, Chiefs will get the ball. Steelers defensive touchdown, just like that. And they'll be down.
Then, Chiefs are back on the field. Oh, my God, that's play action. Oh, there's Hollywood Brown, who we haven't seen in 15 weeks, touchdown. Yeah. And it's 7-7.
I think you can go. I think you have to bet the Chiefs in this one. I really would want to bet the Steelers money line. Really bet the Steelers money line. But
yeah, I think if it was against anybody else and we weren't getting close to the playoffs, it'd be the Steelers.
I think if you got more points, if you got more than 3, I think then I can bet the Steelers. But plus 2.5. It's either Steelers win that game or Chiefs minus 3.5.
Yeah, and minus 1,000 Goots was going to appear to trip the Steelers cashes in legacy fashion.
I mean, just lurking, just always lurking. How do we let Goots get 2 this weekend?
Yeah, what the hell is that, dude? I can't even get 1 all year out of the Jets, Knicks, and Providence. I can't even get 1 in a big game. You're telling me Goots gets 2 in the same weekend?
Fucking brutal.
He got 2 in the same weekend. He got a college football playoff win and a divisional rival win. 2! Nobody gets 2.
Kelly got 1 before you got 1. He's not even a real Penn State fan.
Yeah, what the hell is that? What the hell is that?
Unbelievable.
But I'm taking the Chiefs here, dude. I wouldn't be shocked if Hollywood Brown scores in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if Pat Mahomes looks like he's been watching every podcast of a guy that gets a mic and goes, all right, who are your top 5 quarterbacks this year? And it's not Pat Mahomes. So it's going to be the Chiefs. I'm sorry, Rav. I'm sorry, Steelers fans. Just going to be the Chiefs.
It's easy.
The game that's a little less easy, Nick. Ravens-Texans. Texans are +4 at home. The Ravens, after beating the crap out of the Steelers, and Lamar entering the MVP conversation, Cam Newton standing up for him on ESPN, saying if you just look at the stats, he's better than Josh Allen in every category. I kind of want to take the Texans at home.
I'm taking the Texans at home with the points in that one. 4.5. Just an interesting spot. That's just a spot.
That's just a weird spread. The Ravens almost feel too easy. Whereas that Chiefs game and the Steelers, that spread's a little shorter. It doesn't feel as easy. It feels like you could take the Steelers. 4 for the Ravens after beating up on the Steelers, and the Texans just lost Tank Dell. The Ravens and Goots in here. It's music to my ears. It almost feels too easy. Everyone's saying they lost Tank Dell, but guess what? He's got Nico fucking Collins, who arguably has been better all year.
Yeah.
Other than when he was hurt.
Joe Mixon's been a menace. But the Ravens defense does do well against the run. So, man.
Maybe it's just the over, dude.
I think it's honestly, if you're a bettor, I wouldn't fuck with the spread here. I wouldn't fuck with the spread. I would eat it if you really want some value. It's not even really a lot of value. Plus 175 on ESPN at the moment for that one. For the money line.
See, I agree with Dilly Daggers, though. Nobody's going to want to bet the Texans, Nick.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if you're one to look at lines, and plus 175 isn't a ton of value on the Texans money line, so maybe you just take the Texans in the points, 4.5, and then Ravens probably win that game, I think. But maybe it's only by a field goal. Maybe they keep close.
I agree, though, too, with Richie Parlay. Going on the road after a physical divisional game could be a little bit of a...
Yeah. When did the Ravens and Texans play last?
The Ravens beat the dog shit out of them, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Texans played on Saturday. Oh, they both played on Saturday. So it is a short week for both teams.
Does the over have life, Nick? Oh my God, UTSA scored again. The over's back.
Wow.
Dude, Nick, I don't know what I want to do in this game.
What bowl game is that? I think Texans in the points.
Dude, you know what though, Nick? This is poopy brain, and Trent's going to say the Ravens are a mega max, and they're going to win by 15, dude.
It's also true. I just don't want to see.
Maybe just stop getting cute, Mike, and just take the Ravens -4, who have looked just phenomenal.
I just don't want to see Goots keep getting ones. So I'm fading.
I mean, Goots can't get. Goots can't get 3.
I'm fading the Goots. Goots has got enough. Goots got enough for the weekend. So.
You know what else though, dude? Perfect regression. Goots is going to go 0-2. George is going to beat that ass, and the Texans are going to cover.
Exactly.
And Nick, I'm going to tell you what, dude. I'm so excited for Georgia to play Notre Dame because I think Georgia's the only team other than maybe Texas, and I don't think you can even put Texas in that conversation yet. That's a bred SEC team that is going to prove why the SEC is so good.
Yeah, I'm an SEC slurper, but I'm going to be rooting for Notre Dame in that one. I hate Georgia. Georgia's had enough. Nobody wants to see fucking Georgia in the national championship. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see this backup quarterback in there, even if he's better than Carson Beck. Georgia, I'm rooting for Notre Dame. I'm with Goots on that one.
Carson Beck is hurt, and I think their backup's going to bust. I don't care if the Texans cover, just win the game. All right, Goots, here's the deal, man. You're not getting 2. I'm taking Texans money line, and I'm taking the over. I think, dude, I kind of just love that narrative, though. Really physical game against a divisional opponent. Now you go on the road to Houston, who just lost C.J. Stroud's best friend. That's the perfect get-up game for the Texans.
There you go. C.J. Stroud's got to come out and prove something here. What's
He's
that
got it, man.
What's that division look like? I don't follow enough since the Jaguars are very much out of it. But who's winning the AFC South?
And by the way, Dilly Daggers brought it up. They made Stroud cry, man. Like, if you're making fun of CJ Stroud for crying in that moment, we gotta screw your head back on, dude.
Well, here's
like if I'm crying too. If my best friend goes down like that after coming back from an injury, like, dude, you can't fault him for that, man.
Quick narrative check here.
Yeah.
On the Texans, they win this game. Do they clinch?
Oh, Nick, this is why I needed you to just be in your bag. That's a great question.
So Texans beat the Colts.
It's a phenomenal
both
question,
times.
Nick.
Both times.
It's a phenomenal question.
I think they've already clinched. Then I think they've already clinched because even if
are they playing for home playoff potentials?
Yeah, they would then be playing for some home playoff potentials.
Getting too cute. Ravens are a better
because
team,
even if they lose,
healthy.
even if they lose two, yeah, even if they lose two, they have the tiebreaker over the Colts with 2 weeks left. So the division is clinched, but in terms of playoff home field advantage, do they have the ability for home field?
Goots, is there BTL today? I just saw he said I'm out, but before he leaves. Mikey, did you watch the Aaron Rodgers thing on Netflix? I will never watch Enigma.
No BTL.
No BTL today. Damn, Nick, the narratives. But also in the chat, sorry if this is bad television, guys, but I feel like Nick and I are just trying to mind meld here. But the Ravens also are in a must-win to clinch their division. That division hasn't been clinched either, so the Ravens need to win the next two if they want to clinch.
That might be. Is it Ravens 4.5?
Dude, it might just be the Ravens 4.5 to clinch their division because I didn't even think about that race. But Nick, here's the narrative, Nick. Here's the narrative. Chiefs beat the Steelers. That's the only team competing for the top of that division, so the Ravens can breathe. But if the Chiefs beat the Steelers, then the Ravens could win the division if they beat the Texans.
But then what if we bet the Steelers because
the Steelers are in the same boat.
Are in the same spot.
Oh my God. Dude, Nick, I didn't even realize it. This 2-game slate on Christmas is so big for that division.
Yeah, the AFC North is both teams are
if the Steelers win, pressure on.
10-5. And the Chiefs and the Texans have already clinched their divisions, so maybe less to play for.
Maybe we just take both teams, dude. Maybe we take Steelers Ravens because they're playing for shit.
Yeah. Steelers play first, though. What if they win?
If the Steelers win, then the pressure's on the Ravens. They have to win.
I kind of like that. Let's go net. That's more fun to root for than the opposite because we'd be sweating our balls if you take the opposite. If you take the Chiefs, you know the Chiefs are going to win this game by 3, though. And you're like, why did it?
So Nick, maybe we spin the yarn. Chiefs beat the Steelers. The Ravens now go, the pressure's a little bit off because the Steelers lost, but we still need to win this game. They come in a little sleepy tired. Texans punch them in the mouth. Texans +4 and the Chiefs. Take both of them
I'm
to shit down their leg.
I'm sticking with that. I'm going Chiefs -2.5, Texans +4.5. Signed, sealed, delivered.
I agree, dude. I think you Chiefs Texans and you fade the narrative of these two battling out to win the division. It comes down to the last game.
We are way overthinking by this.
Yeah, by the way, guys, you just wasted a solid 5 minutes listening to this. These are NFL teams, Mikey. Why the fuck would we be sleepy? Because the minute the Steelers lose to the Chiefs, the Ravens go, pressure's a little bit off. We need to win this game. And if there's one guy that I know that comes into games sleepy, it's fucking Lamar Jackson, Goots, because I had $2,000 on him last year to beat the Chiefs at home in a playoff game. And he came in looking like a bag of rocks. That's why, Goots.
I also have big fantasy implications this week. I just made the fantasy finals, so.
Wow.
And I know everyone's fantasy finals are this week for everybody, too. So we're going to need to, with these Wednesday games, make sure you guys set your lineups. Because that's going to be, people are going to forget to set their lineups in fantasy
for
finals.
Sure. Yeah, you got Christmas
games
coming
on
around.
Wednesday. It's a new fucking year, Mikey. That's a good set, sure.
Just so you guys know, the system is on the board. Devils are -245. However, when we play the Rangers, we own that rat shit org, so we're covering -1.5 against the Rangers. I don't know puck other than that, but make sure you guys tail the puck boys. They've been in their bag. A little bit of NBA, Nick. A little bit of NBA today. I've been trying to dial in on the NBA with props.
Are you
I
going
do
Jalen
love the
Brunson?
Suns at plus chicken at home tonight against the Nuggets. I kind of like fading the Nuggets this year, dude. I don't know why, but I've been a fan of fading the Nuggets this year. Um,
How's that working out for you?
it's I mean that's on Wednesday, but I'm looking at the Christmas games for the NBA. We got Spurs, Knicks, Timberwolves, Mavs.
Lakers,
The Celtics at
Warriors.
home on Christmas is a donkey.
T-Wolves play. You see, speaking of T-Wolves, do you see Anthony Edwards yesterday? I think it was yesterday. His comments about
Call
the ref.
him, call him the ref a
He's-
hoe.
He's getting in a
He's getting
fat fine for that one.
Yeah, he's getting fined for that one.
He's like, fuck all these refs. They fucking suck all year.
Christmas Day games, I'm going to take the Suns. I'm definitely going to take the Lakers. I feel like LeBron on Christmas is a system, even though it's Curry on Christmas as well. The Celtics are probably going to beat the shit out of the Sixers at home. I feel like you could confidently take the Mavs. The wheels are coming off the Timberwolves a little bit.
Yep.
And then, dude, the noon Knicks at home against the Spurs. Give me the Knicks. Fuck the Spurs, dude.
-8.5.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Give me the fucking Knicks. All right, let's talk about today's NBA just a little bit. There's a huge slate.
Taking Brunson.
Anyone against the Hornets. I am going to take Brunson's points today against the Raptors. Last time the Raptors played the Knicks, I was like, oh, I'm going to take the OG narrative, PRA, and he pooped down his leg. But we're back at home now, and I think Brunson's starting to catch a groove here, man. I really do. I think the Knicks are looking so good right now. I think you could take Cat and feel confident. I don't know who on the Raptors is going to be able to stop Cat. The answer is nobody. I like that Grizzlies Clippers over.
Is that Jokic free square for Christmas? Yeah. Jokic free square if you guys want it for Christmas.
Okay, on Prize Picks. Let's go.
Max $25.
Jokic free square.
Let's build this Prize Picks while you do that.
I like this Grizzlies Clippers over. I'm not going to take the Knicks -14. That's just so many points. Even though we're at home, I'm going to try to get proppy in that game. Maybe Brunson points or Cat PRA. Feels like feeds families. Or you could go narrative. If the Knicks are -14, take Deuce McBride points because he's going to get burn. Money habits. We did take RJ Barrett last time they played the Knicks. Narrative. He always busts against the Knicks, so you could take RJ Barrett. I don't know if he's fully healthy, though. Cade PRA against the Lakers. I love that. Cade PRA against the Lakers might be a max play square. First half props. Nikki Gambles. I don't hate that in the Twitch chat. For the Knicks game, he's saying. Damn, maybe Cade PRA, dude, with Deuce McBride points. That could feed. Donovan Mitchell going up against his old team, too. UTSA in the red zone. We need points here so bad. We need points here so bad. And Coast Carolina has the ball. Who just said red zone UTSA? Coast Carolina. Oh, they're in the red zone. I'm also thinking, dude, just looking at this NBA board, a lot of fat spreads today. Ton of fat spreads today. Why are the Bulls only +1.5 at home? That feels like a Josh bet. He would tell me to take the Bulls.
Bulls
You could also tell me if Giannis is playing, they own the Bulls with Giannis. Chunk play after chunk play. Let's go, Jay McSnake. I don't know what Josh would do, honestly.
WWJD. What would, instead of Jesus, Josh do?
So what is the college football playoff schedule? Are they playing on Christmas or what is their deal for this scheduling now?
Everything is the 31st and the 1st. So on the 31st.
W-Raid.
31st, W-Raid Don. 31st, it's going to be the Sugar Bowl with Notre Dame playing.
Sugar Bowl with Notre Dame, huh?
Or no, Tuesday. No, 31st. It's Penn State, Boise State, and the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Eve. And then noon on New Year's Day, Texas takes on Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. Then at 4, it's Ohio State, Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then Notre Dame, Georgia in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day evening.
And I think Josh and I are doing the shows 26th, 27th, 28th. So we're going to be doing shows right after Christmas. So
Perfect.
I guess just talking about the Christmas games really was kind of it. There's not a lot of good college basketball, dude, but I'll tell you what. There's a great game on Saturday. I think it's Gonzaga is playing UTSA. Tutty, let's go.
Dubs.
That over is so bad, Jay McSqueak. Come on. Come on, Squeak. Come on. Yeah, I wish college basketball was like football where they just put the lines up 3 weeks in advance, but unfortunately it's a day-by-day betting situation with that one. I was looking at a couple games today, but it's so weird. Like Nebraska's in this Hawaii tournament right now for some reason. So maybe you just go ahead and take Hawaii +9 on their own island. I believe it's in Hawaii. I might be wrong there, but I believe it's a Hawaii tournament.
Tennessee is the only top team or top 25 team playing today.
Yeah, and I'm not taking
Against
-25,
Middle
27.
Tennessee State. Yeah, 28.5. That
I'm
doesn't get you up.
No, that doesn't tickle Jim. I mean, you know what would be a Josh bet, dude? Is he would take Middle Tennessee because in-state rival.
Plus 28.5. Yeah, good narrative.
Yeah.
Good narrative.
That's the Josh bet, dude. If you guys want the Josh bet of the day, I'll save you the time. It's literally Middle Tennessee State plus 27.5, and I know everyone that watches this show consistently knows that'd be the Josh play, strictly because it's the in-state rival they get up for this game.
Tennessee 11-0. Wow, they're the number one team in the country. I bet.
All right, Nick, I'm going to ask you to look at Prize Picks really quick for me because I can't pull it up. What is Jalen Brunson's points tonight? I have a 2-piece that I'm gonna post, so maybe let's. Okay, yeah, my 2-piece tonight, guys, that I texted JJ. Jalen Brunson points, Fred VanVleet points. That's gonna be my 2-piece. I'm gonna post it everywhere. But let's build a little TMA, Geyserman. Yo, Mikey, I got a system for you already. There's a girl who I used to work with, and we don't work together anymore, and I got a huge crush on her. And I kept track of all the picks she gave me, and her overall combined record is 64-50. Okay. What's
her play, Chew?
Yeah, Chew. What?
Need the lock.
No way you didn't squeak the play in at the end there. No way you gave me the system and then didn't squeak the play. Sitting here holding Jim. Bucks a whale.
Bucks a whale.
Wow.
I already knew it was Chew saying this before I even read it.
Wow. Bookit Chew with the system plays here.
System plays.
So, Nick, my 2-piece is going to be, so maybe take the Bucks if you want to tail Chew and his crush. Systems that I'm posting today, Jalen Brunson points and Fred VanVleet points. That's my 2-piece. But, Nick, let's make a TMA, guys.
Let's do it.
I think I'm really starting to fall in love with Cade PRA against the Lake Show, dude. I think that's going to be my square.
I'm going – this is
You can go Monday night, too. You can go Monday night football. You can go
Monday night football because I think this – I like this square, even though it is on Pop Tab, but Josh Jacobs' fantasy score.
Oh, I mean, that could be dunk of
more than sitting at 19. Gone over this, and I mean, again, it's square. The last 5, he's gone over it every single time. But there is snow tonight, or there's snow today. Cold game.
Even better. Run the ball.
Think Packers get up, and even if they get up, they just control the clock and keep running the ball.
LMNG, don't make me come down there. Stop being rude. Dude, I love that, Nick. I actually love that. Dude, Nick, that might be normally Josh and I force a 4-geyser, but that 2-piece might just be it, dude.
That might pay.
Josh Jacobs fantasy with Cade PRA, dude. That might just be the one that pays.
Just an easy one to get through the hoop. Easy. Nothing is easy, I should say. Not necessarily an easy one. Just feeling good about it, feeling strong about that one.
Nick, I kind of love that 2-piece because I'm looking at these other NBA games. Oh my God, dude. System play, Nick, by the way. Hear me out. This is big brain Brian Windhorst. 1 inch of snow, says Rando. That's a lot of snow, Rando. A lot of people might say that's a small amount of snow, that's an embarrassing amount of snow. That's a lot of snow. 1 inch of snow does the same thing that 6 inches of snow does. Okay, and people might be sitting there going, 1 inch, that's not a lot of snow. They might go, that's almost no snow. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be the guy to tell you that's a ton of snow.
Plenty of snow.
That's almost an unreasonable amount of snow. And people that know the job that snow does are going to say that doesn't do the job that snow does. 1 inch of snow does the job.
All snow is the same at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just snow. All snow, it doesn't matter how big the snow is. I mean, how much snow there is.
How much snow?
Nick, hear me out. Hear me out. This is Brian Windhorst. I'm out of the chair.
All right.
Trent's going to be courtside for the Thunder Wizards game.
Oh, he is. That's right.
Now, people are saying, Nick, and by people, I mean myself, Trent's maybe getting too many lately. He's getting weekender benders. He's getting the goat whale. He's getting the primetime plays. Now, wouldn't it just be the most Trent thing ever to be getting everything in Ma's cabinet?
Mm-hmm.
And then go sit courtside to watch his Thunder play against, it's the worst team in the league, dude. And I'm sitting there with Jordan Poole 35 plus and a Wizards money line ticket.
Shout out at him. I mean,
you're telling me Trent's going to be courtside against our GOAT, Nick, against the TMA GOAT,
or he transitions the fade god over to you and you lose and he just keeps winning. Yeah,
that would be brutal. This could be the passing of the torch, dude.
You could, dude,
Nick. This could be passing of torch,
or you could mush his team and hope that you're on the right side, and then if he loses, then he just blames you.
This could be the passing of the torch, Nick. This could be the passing of the torch, where I take the Wizards and he takes the Thunder, and the Thunder win by 1 million.
Yeah.
Wait, did that spread just jump from 14 to 17 in front of my eyes? I'm almost positive it was 14 a second ago.
That just means some whale came in with a big bet,
or somebody's out.
How much would you have to move the line to move it 3 points if you were betting on a game? Like if you're betting at the book,
dude,
on a book,
lot. I think a lot.
If you're putting in a wager on Blue Book, how much would you have to put on a game to move it 3 points? 10 million?
I think a lot, dude.
10 million
to move it 3 whole points.
Millions? Yeah, 3 whole points. Like how?
It would have to be mils, dude.
Yeah, it had to be.
You'd have to literally maybe drop 3 million to move it 1.5 points.
3 million for 1.5 movement. Yeah.
Or maybe 2 points.
I get it. Probably
depends.
Know, dude.
3 points is so much, dude.
It probably depends on how much handle there already is on the game. Like if there's not that much, I guess it would take less to move it. But just interesting.
All right. Well, I mean, there's not much else going on other than, we talked about the Christmas games. We talked about all of it.
Kind of covered the bases.
We covered the bases, dude. We covered the bases. NIU or Fresno, I feel like Josh would tell us NIU, so that one is a tip the cap to Josh. We got to take the MAC team. We're definitely taking NIU. We're taking NIU, and that's that. Make no mistake, if Josh was here, that would be his POD.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the Josh POD. He'd say, you take NIU, and you move on, and I would go, but why is it such a short line? And he would go, Mike, you take NIU. So we're going to take NIU. That's just what it is. All right. Nick, we end every episode the same way that we end every episode. Why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to the people, and then I'm going to do what I do at the end.
Bye, people. See you later.
Can I get some W's in chat for Nick for showing up today? I really, really, really appreciate it. Can the chat get some W's for Nick? Can I get some W's for Nick in the chat for showing up today and producing on such short notice? One man, one game is going to be Christian Watson. Now, remember, it's not mine. Remember, it is not mine. Keep that in the back of your head. Not mine. It's my buddies, because my one man, one games have been 0-10 in the last 10. So I went somewhere else for it. Guys, listen, we end every episode with a little inspiration, a little motivation. Christmas is almost here. This is the last episode we're going to do till the 26th. So we're going to have a little 2-day break here where everyone's going to have to hang out with their family. There's not going to be any Mikey Overs to distract you from your days. So I saw a post on TikTok, and there's no BTL today, guys, so I might go a little bit longer. Because I'll be honest with you, I think the end of these episodes, it's also a little therapeutic for me as well. Because, I think there's a lot going on, and I think it helps to talk. And I think, it seems as though you guys appreciate it. Hopefully it helps. I mean, I get a DM every day of, even if it's just one, of someone being like, hey, man, I really appreciate the end of the episode. Is Coastal in the red zone though? I'm still a gambler. Is Coastal in the red zone? Because if we can get 28 points for this over in the first half after a scoreless first, I'll be tickling Jim. I'll be tickling Jim if Coastal gets a touchdown here. All right. I can't look at that because I need to lock in on the motivation. On the 15, Chaco, I need you to be up to date the minute the date is up, okay? I saw this thing on TikTok, and I wanted to reiterate it, or not reiterate it, maybe just share it with you guys, because I think it's something that I did these past couple months, and it was really helpful for me to at least hear it. And before I start that, though, I did want to say someone reached out and said, hey, Mikey, I just wanted to know if you're going to therapy, how you found your therapist, whatever it was, and if you think that would be helpful for me, because I'm going through something in my personal life. And I said, absolutely. So just wanted to reiterate, I mean, you see it every day with these athletes, and mental health matters. Go talk to somebody. I promise you, it helps. It doesn't make you stronger for sitting in it and trying to work it out by yourself and being a man's man, whatever. I've never been a man's man. But this is what they said on TikTok. And I think it was really helpful to hear. I think it was something that I don't think a lot of us even think about. And it was basically, when we're feeling a certain kind of way, we have a tendency sometimes to pull over on the side of the road and turn our blinkers on. And I think we pull over on the side of the road, we turn our blinkers on, and we wait for someone to pull over to help. And I think a lot of the times we get lost in the fact that, yeah, there's people in our corner, and yeah, there's people that would help and will help. But I think a lot of the times we forget that everyone else is kind of doing their own thing. You think about it when you're on the highway, right? And you pull over, everyone else is going somewhere else. Everyone else in their car has something else going on. And even though the things that you're going through or the problems you might have feel like they're a little bit bigger than life itself, and it feels like things are crumbling, things are blowing up, we have this tendency sometimes to pull over on the side of the road and hit our blinkers and kind of sit in that driver's seat and not want to go forward, not want to move our car forward, take our foot off the gas, and just sit there and stew in it and be like, someone's going to pull over to help. Someone's going to do this for me. Someone's going to do that for me. And I think, we talk about it every day with taking a step forward. And I think just using the car as a metaphor, when things go wrong, we have this tendency to pull over, put our blinkers on, and just sometimes even pray for someone to pull over. I just want someone to pull over and knock on my window and be like, hey, man, what's going on? What are you doing on the side of the road with your blinkers on, brother? You're going 75 and 65, and now you're pulled over for no reason with your blinkers on. And I think we forget sometimes that it's going to come down to you, right? It's going to come down to you. And even if that person does pull over and they give you that time of day and they go, dude, what's going on? And they sit there and talk with you and they tell you this, they tell you that, it really is going to come down to you and turning your car back on, putting your blinker back on, and starting to lean into that gas pedal. And I just, I heard that metaphor of just kind of putting our blinkers on. And I think too many times, not that necessarily we feel sorry for ourselves. And I, as someone that definitely pulled over and put my blinkers on a lot, we get lost in that for too long. And we just sit there and sit there and sit there, and you hear the blinkers on. And it's almost like mesmerizing as you sit there and you're just like, man, this is ass. Like I don't even want to turn the car back on. I might just turn the engines off. I might just turn the engines off and just sit here, man. Because nothing is happening for me right now. Nothing feels like it's going right. And I don't think a lot of times we realize that we're the ones that pulled the car over, right? Even if something happened, someone said something or someone did something in your personal life, we forget that they don't have control of your steering wheel. They don't have control of what's going on. You're the one that pulled the car over. You're the one that cut the engine. You're the one that put the blinker on. And you're the same person that can turn the engine back on. You're the same person that can cut those blinkers out and put your foot back on the gas. And I think a lot of times we sit there and we wish someone would come open the car, take us, put us in the passenger seat in our own life, and just get back on the gas again and get us going. And I promise you, if you wait for that to happen, you're never going to get going again. And I know how hard it can feel sometimes to be picking your own self up and getting your car back on and hitting that gas pedal again. And I'm just, I implore you as we go into the holidays, and listen, as someone, these holidays are going to be so difficult, man. Just keeping it a buck with you guys, keeping it transparent with you guys. When you have big change, the holidays can be so difficult. So difficult, man. It feels like sometimes it amplifies the things that are going on in your personal life. And it's in little moments where you just, at least for me, these past couple days, just being around, sometimes you just completely disassociate from what's going on. And you're just like, dude, what the hell is going on? And I think that can happen for many reasons. Maybe things are going wrong at work and now you got to spend the holidays and everyone's asking, oh, how's work doing? How you going? How's everything going? And you just got to sit there and we give the classic, I'm fine. Or you get back home and you're talking to your mom and dad and, maybe they notice you're a little out of sorts and they're asking, I'm just real tired. And we all have the same responses when that car is pulled over. Everyone's got that same response when the car is pulled over, man. Or maybe you're buying presents and you don't have to buy presents anymore for that cousin or that uncle or whoever it is in your personal life. And that kind of hits you, right? It's the little things that get you. And while your car is pulled over, we all have the same things, man. We all have the same excuses, the same sayings, the same whatever it is. And I think as this holiday season's getting going for myself, I'll speak for myself. Hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. I turned my car back on. And I'm going to cut off those goddamn blinkers. And I'm going to start getting annoyed by that noise. I'm going to cut my blinker on to get back on the highway. And I'm going to hit the gas. And I think once you realize that you can take charge of your own life, that life is not coming at you, it's coming through you. And we've said that a couple times. And once I'm realizing life's coming through me, dude. No one's going to come over in my life and be like, hey, man, just, we got to get going again. Like, no, fuck that, dude. It's my life. I'm going to get going again. So I'm asking you as the holidays get going, and dude, I'm scared for this new year. I'll keep it a buck with you guys. We're going to talk about it from the 26th to the 29th for our next couple episodes. I'm scared for this new year, dude, because there's so much every new year that you got to leave behind, and there's so much that you got to get going. I'm scared to death of this new year. I'll keep it a buck with you guys. But I think as I'm getting into the Christmas period, I'm going to be around my family. I'm just going to cut my engine back on. I'm turning off the goddamn blinkers and I'm putting my foot on the gas for the first time in 3 months, it feels like. And I'm going to allow life to come from me again. And I'm going to stop being one of these people that sits in their car and is just watching everybody fly by and waiting for someone to knock on the window and pick me up. Because the reality is, even when you want someone to, then they do it. Then you're like, oh, well, that wasn't enough. Well, that conversation wasn't enough. And I talked about it with my therapist, and it's just about realizing it's only going to come from you. And I know how hard that can be. And that's why I just wanted to reiterate that to you guys as we get into the holidays. And, I got people in my DMs being like, oh, fucking Mikey Over is telling me motivational stuff. What the fuck is that? Some sports better. But I'm also a human being. And the thing I just want to get across to you as we go into the holidays, because I know it can be so hard, it's going to come down to you. And I know that can be scary sometimes. And sometimes I'm staring at myself in the mirror and it's like, you're not in a good way. And I saw this 21 Savage thing and he was like, sometimes I sit in bed at night and I just cry, dude. And that was 21 Savage saying that. And you're going, damn, bro. And you got DC Young Fly saying, I'm not going to show you crying, but I cry all the time. And dude, I'll keep it a buck with you. Sometimes at night, I just be crying, dude. There's nothing even to cry about. I'll just be on TikTok. I'll be on my phone, and I'm just starting to realize that the strength in those moments comes from, one, letting it out, and it's okay to let that out. And then two, being like, I'm the only person that's going to get this show back on the road. I'm the main actor in my story. I saw someone say in the chat, I am him. In my story, I am him. So now it's time to go. And I think, making that switch Thanks for subbing Fresh Cell Phones. Thanks. And I'm making that switch now. And it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to stop sitting in this pit that I think we dig for ourselves. We don't even realize we're digging it for ourselves. Sometimes we get in the pit and we're like, God, I can't believe somebody put me in this pit. We didn't realize the whole time you've been digging the pit. Every time you blink, you're the one that's shoveling, and you wake up from that dream and you're like, holy shit, I'm shoveling my own fucking pit, and I thought somebody else has put this here. And I just want you guys, as the holidays get going, to realize that it's you that's going to be the leader of your story. It's you that's going to get yourself going. It's you that's going to be the one that turns that car on and fucking turns those blinkers off and stops sitting on the side of the road waiting for someone to knock. So as we end every episode, take one step forward for me. I know how hard it can be. Take a step forward sometimes. And if we're taking steps backwards, I got news for you. The strength comes from waking up and taking steps forward every single day and doing it again. So do me a favor. We're going into the holiday season. Sometimes it could be stressful. Sometimes it could be exciting. Sometimes it's fun. Let's have some fun this holiday season. Let's bet on some football. Let's watch the Chiefs play and be like, damn, they're going to do it again. They're just going to do it again. And I apologize for everyone that's not Chiefs fans. As myself, as a Jets fan, we're not even in the playoffs. I'm just letting you know the Chiefs are doing it again. Let's take one step forward. I know how hard it can be, but if we take a step forward every single day, I promise by the end of the year, we are going to be somewhere you couldn't even dream. We're going to be back on the 26th. I love you guys so much. Thank you to everyone that tunes in every day. Seriously, it means the world. This is the favorite thing that I do in my day. It's my favorite part of my job. I'm trying to grow this live show like crazy, so I appreciate everyone that tunes in every single day in the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat and even the Twitter chat if you guys are there too. But let's get going this holiday season. Understand it's going to be you. Understand that life comes from you. And the strength isn't taking that step forward. The strength is just in the effort. And sometimes we fail, sometimes we don't. But I love you guys so much. We'll see you here on the 26th. Have a great holidays. Have a Merry Christmas. Have whatever it is that you celebrate, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it is. Have a great holiday. Spend some time with family. Give some people some hugs around you. And just know that I'm here if you ever need me in the DMs. And I love you guys so much. We'll be seeing. And let's go have a great holidays. Hopefully you get everything you asked for. And let's go pay for Christmas with some lineups and some bets this weekend. I love you guys so much. And we'll see you here on the 26th.